Imagine this scene. You are standing in the marina looking at a yacht and thinking, this is freedom. Morse, sun, guests, lifestyle. And then a second thought arises. The more business-oriented one, after all, this yacht can earn its keep. And here most people make the first mistake. They think that the path to earning from chartering starts with dreams, but the truth is brutal. It starts with one condition. You have to enter the game with capital. To earn from chartering today, you most often have to first buy an entire yacht, and this is the entry barrier that stops almost everyone. And now the best part, it doesn't have to look like this at all. The world has already solved a similar problem in aviation. A private jet is also expensive. It also has costs. It also requires maintenance. Yet Fractional has been operating there for years. You don't have to buy the whole plane to participate in its economy. Why does it work? Because the system wins. Operator, procedures, and settlements. Without emotions, without we'll work it out, without chaos. In this episode, we will piece everything together into a logical whole. First, I will show why a charter on paper looks great, but in practice, it can kill cash flow. Later, why classic co-ownership of a yacht often fails, and why airplanes have an advantage here. And at the end, I will show the idea of YachtFi, how, through tokenization, you can enter the yacht charter business with a small amount as a minority shareholder, and settlements and revenue sharing are executed by a smart contract. Without manual tables, without asking for a transfer, without drama. Let's start with the truth. Chartering is not Instagram. Chartering is an operation. It involves scheduling, check-in, check-out, standards, cleaning, fuel, service, insurance, ports, logistics, marketing, brokers, and hundreds of small decisions. Yachts can be a great charter asset, but only when someone is in control of the process and the numbers. And the biggest killer is not the waves. The biggest killer is cash flow. Let's clarify something important. Financing a yacht through leasing is possible. However, leasing has a strict logic. It usually prefers a situation where you finance the entire yacht as one responsible structure. One decisiveness, one security, one plan, and then it works. You have a payment, you have a schedule, you have discipline, but that leads to another fact. The rate is monthly, also in winter. The yacht has a season, but the bank does not have a season. There is no seasonal insurance. There are no fixed costs for the season. So if someone says we will earn in July, I ask, what are we doing in November? And this is where real management begins. Cash flow spread over the year, reserves, occupancy planning, and operational decisions that are not easy, but they are what keeps the business alive. And now we come to the point where many projects fail. When a yacht is to be purchased by several people, for example, 3 partners each with 1/3, it suddenly becomes more difficult. Everyone has their perspective, everyone wants their control, and sometimes everyone wants their funding. For the funder, it is simply more complicated. Security, decision-making, risk of dispute. And here begins the problem of classical co-ownership. In theory, it's the cheaper yacht, but in practice, it often leads to greater chaos. In fractional aviation, it works because it is a procedural industry. There are 3 pillars. First, the operator, a professional, manages it. Second, procedures, standards, checklists, maintenance, planning. Third, settlements, strict rules that do not depend on mood. And that is why people can have shares, and it can work even when they do not know each other. Yachts are different. An airplane is a means of transport. You board, you fly, you disembark. A yacht is a lifestyle. It's about time. It's about guests. It's about how the salon should look, how the cabin should smell, what toys, what standard. And that's why classic yacht co-ownership breaks down faster, because a share often creates a need for influence, and influence breeds conflicts. In practice, it looks like this. Someone has a 20% share and suddenly wants 20% of the decisions about everything. Another has 30% and wants 30% of the decisions. And before the yacht even starts working in charter, politics begins. Interior, equipment, crew, home port, standards, budget. This is a beautiful recipe for the yacht not to be a business, but an emotional project. And here a completely different philosophy comes into play. The YachtFi idea is different. You do not buy the right to arrange a yacht. You buy a minority stake in the charter business. And that changes everything, because in such a model, there are many more owners. So no one has the power to argue over every detail. The standard is maintained by a professional operator, and you are a shareholder in the outcome. Why did it rarely work with small amounts before? Because without tokenization, co-ownership had to be limited to a few people. And a few people means companies, contracts, registers, lawyers, accounting, signatures, share transfers, then manual settlements. This does not scale to hundreds or thousands of small shareholders. Paper and administration have their limits. And blockchain does something that sounds boring, but is a revolution. It can scale ownership. Blockchain provides a simple mechanism. A share is a token. You hold it in a wallet and have a digital proof of co-ownership. YachtFi calls this RWA, a real physical yacht, as the underlying asset, and operating as it. And suddenly something appears that wasn't there before. You can enter with a small amount. You don't need to have 100,000 euros to have a piece of a yacht. YachtFi communicates an entry threshold from a very small amount, even from 1 USDT. And this is the essence of democratization. Someone who has 1,000 euros can participate in the charter business, not as a ship owner, as a minority shareholder. In this model, the hard cap is also important. There are exactly as many tokens as corresponds to 100% of the value of the yacht. After the entire amount is sold, tokenization is closed, without any additional printing. There is no risk that the profit will be divided into more shares. There is no dilution. This builds trust because everyone knows the total amount. Now we are entering the heart of the system. The smart contract has two key roles. The first role, it monitors the shares. You deposit, you receive tokens. The tokens reflect your share. This is not Excel. This is not someone forgot to add something. This is the mechanics of ownership. The second part of the same role is process security. The logic of first we collect the full amount, then we buy the yacht. In other words, only collecting 100% allows us to proceed to finalization. This solves the classic problem of crowdfunding projects. What if we run out before the end? Here the principle is strict and mechanical. And now mega important, YachtFi does not pretend to be a charter company for everything. Chartering is a specialization. Booking, marketing, customer service, standards, crew, service, logistics. This is done by an external professional management company. YachtFi is supposed to deliver two things: ownership of shares and settlements. The operator is supposed to deliver the operation. The earning model is simple. The charter client pays for a week, for two, for a cruise. This is revenue. But the most important question is, what happens next with that money? Who holds it? Who settles the costs? Who divides the profit? In the traditional world, this is manual work and trust in one party, and YachtFi is trying to do it systematically. The second key function of the smart contract is profit distribution. YachtFi communicates monthly payouts in USDT during the charter season, directed to the shareholder's wallet. In practice, the idea is as follows. The charter revenues go to the specified wallet, and the system divides them proportionally to the tokens. This is not a promise of profit. It is a promise of principles. If there is a result, there is an automatic distribution. No invoices, no delays, no explanations. Remember one picture because it explains everything. Revenue comes from the charter, then costs follow, and only at the end do you have a result to divide. This is the difference between marketing and real business, because a yacht can earn money, but a yacht also costs money. And if you want the model to be serious, you need to have cost discipline and reserves. On the YachtFi website, there is also a strong slogan, zero effort and net profit, meaning that the operator takes care of the crew, port fees, fuel, insurance, and logistics, while the shareholder does not bear the operational burden. This is important because most people do not want to become yacht managers. People want to participate in the outcome, not in the everyday problems. Another pillar is transparency. YachtFi describes on-chain verification, transactions are recorded, the token is a cryptographic proof of co-ownership, and the smart contract is in ERC20 standard and verified. This does not mean that business risk disappears, but it means that the classic problem of co-ownership disappears. Who has how much, and is the division fair? Many fractional projects die on the question, how to exit? YachtFi describes a 3-year cycle. The yacht operates season after season for 3 years, and then it is sold on the market to realize the asset's value. And then the proceeds from the sale, according to the description, are distributed proportionally to the tokens automatically to the wallets. There is also a liquidity thread. Since shares are tokens, YachtFi communicates the possibility of trading on the open market, on DEX, as long as there is a buyer. And that is a fair way to put it. Technology facilitates transfer, but the market always needs a counterparty. To ensure it is not just a dry financial construct, there is also a lifestyle layer. YachtFi communicates the possibility of chartering at a significant discount during the off-season, up to 80%. This makes sense because winter occupancy can be different, and for the shareholder, it's a nice bonus. You can experience yachting not through disputes over decisions, but through access. This is where Captain Pass comes in. An NFT that, according to the description, is automatically minted after reaching over 200 shares. It provides specific privileges: private visits in Monaco, winter discounts, a media vault, and on-chain co-ownership certificate. This is cool because it builds community and provides a status symbol, but you are still a shareholder in the business, not someone who makes operational decisions every day. And now the practice, how to enter the system. YachtFi describes onboarding in 2 minutes. You connect your wallet, select Yacht Share, click Invest Now and deposit USDT. Then in the dashboard, you see your share and the dividends tab. This is the moment when the advantage of the product over paper is visible. Instead of weeks of formalities, you have a process like in a modern app. We're going back to the beginning. Airplanes have proven that fractional works when you have an operator, procedures, and settlements. Yachting hasn't had that for a long time because a yacht is emotional, and classic co-ownership ends in politics, paperwork, and conflicts over influence. YachtFi proposes a different way. Many minority shareholders, a professional charter operator, blockchain for ownership, and profit sharing. You're not selling people the dream of being a ship owner. You're giving them the opportunity to participate in the charter business without the barrier of buying an entire yacht. And finally, it's important. It's still a business. There is seasonality, costs, breakdowns, and occupancy risk. Technology doesn't eliminate risk. It removes chaos in sharing and settlements. If you want me to show a specific project step by step and what it looks like in real life, write YACHTFI and see you at sea. I and C